Hi guys, it's Wednesday podcast, and this is your pop culture. Everything you need to know because Nat and I are fucking experts.
Hot topics in the middle of the day. We're going to have this recorded in a studio. Hot topics with Cat and Nat Jazz Hands. Again, if you want to listen to this podcast ad free, you can subscribe at Apple Podcasts and you will get bonus episodes. The second bonus episode went out a little while ago and it's a secret. And I reveal secrets and you make sure that you do not tell the people that I was talking about in it. Don't put me on blast. This is my life. And I'm sharing it with you because we need friends to talk to.
Oh my God, it's so juicy.
Can't wait for the next juicy one. Oh my gosh. Okay, wait, no. Okay,
What?
so pop culture. So basically, we are just doing the roundup of what we can gather as busy moms on what the heck is going on in Hollywood or...
The world or the internet.
Yes, but yes, the world of pop culture.
So Britney Spears launched her book today.
Oh my gosh.
So
are you
Wednesday,
going
October.
to read it?
No, because
Did she write it?
No. She told her story.
So she sat down with the ghostwriter and she told her story. But the ghostwriter probably did the outline and just said, give me some details. And can they, like in her headspace, in her mind space, can she tell the stories properly?
I read a People article magazine last night about the book because I sat down with her and had a conversation. And it's a lot of the same narrative about, like, I'm allowed to say my story now.
Mm-hmm.
And everything I read is just the same thing over and over and over again. So basically...
I also need you to brief me on what happened with Justin Timberlake and the abortion and everything.
So Justin Timberlake's getting called on blast because they're saying that, like, the man behavior of him having no accountability with Janet Jackson and Britney Spears and him being the hero. There's also a rumor he actually cheated on Britney. Okay. And then he made this song and he continued to talk about Britney kind of in bad light.
Okay.
And then she comes and writes a book and he's like, I have no comment. We're going to move on to being forward, although he has spoken about her for years after the breakup and used her and leveraged her in the #1 song, Cry Me a River. And everyone's like, you continue to sing it, yet you will not address her, even though you're using that song as like...
What do you mean he won't address her?
Like, he's like, I'm not commenting.
So he's saying I'm not commenting on the book?
Nothing.
Nothing ever about her?
No. Even though he's still... I get the point. If you're still singing Cry Me a River...
Did he write that song when they were 20 years old?
When they broke up, like just after.
Please, nobody go writing any books or telling any stories from when I was 20.
It does talk about when they met, and she was in Minnie Mouse Club with Christina Aguilera, Ryan Gosling, or one of the Ryans.
Yeah, Gosling.
And she said we worked so hard, it ended, and she went back to be like a kid.
Oh, okay.
One story. Not judging. I believe she said she was in grade 8th grade, and she said these were some of her favorite memories when her and her mom would go away for weekends and drink.
Yeah.
In 8th grade, and it was so normal, but not like her dad, who was an alcoholic. It wasn't like that kind of drinking.
Oh, is that what she says?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're not breeding any problems here.
Wow.
In grade 8.
It's not like they were mean. It's like they were, it's like they were funny and fun. Like it was like light drinking, not like heavy
she wasn't getting
drinking.
like wasted.
No, I'm pretty sure she was, but it wasn't. She didn't turn angry when she drank.
Oh, and her dad did.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
so that was like one kind of bombshell, in my opinion, of it being. I'm like, just how unnormal her life really was, and where were her parents? And I'm not judging. It's just sort of like she wanted a break from the machine, and then
why aren't you judging?
Because I don't know what it's like to be a mom of a kid who really wants something and is really good at it, and I don't know your advice when we have a similar. So I don't know.
Kind of like Lindsay Lohan's mom.
Yeah, and she like reached out to Hollywood to get advice, and the guy was like, "Well, I have this old track from Toni Braxton that got cut. You can try it." And she got paraded around, and basically they're like, "We want you. We're signing you to one of the record deals. Start tomorrow." So she left her normal life and went to Hollywood, and basically that was it. And then they were like, can you dance? Can you do this? Can you do this? And they said she was working like nonstop. Like she was just working nonstop when she was young. And she said she was just constantly sexualized, criticized, like talked about her body. Like her body was never good enough. Her dad even said so. Just like always pitted against other women. And when she did the I'm a Slave for You in the VMAs, she said the snake could have killed her. Literally, it was a white python, and she couldn't make eye contact with it or it would kill her. And she was holding it and she was petrified. Obviously, it was not her idea to hold the snake from her perspective. And so she was like, I just couldn't wait to get it off of me because it started to turn around and look at me. And I was like, but I had to stay cool. I had to perform.
Wow. And the hardest part for me, just because your initial thought, your initial reaction to everything is you're like, you think about your situation. And when I see her sister and her mother, her dad, I don't know, he always seemed a little off to me, but like her mom, she just looked like such a nice mom. And like the sister was like, you have a mom and a sister. And like they're not protecting you. And I don't understand why.
I think that it was a different time. Really, this is my interpretation.
But even now.
But you don't know maybe she's not getting the calls. Maybe she doesn't want the help. Maybe she is like so hurt. It's so damaged. And, clearly she basically was like, I needed to have a moment because I was so talked about in my body that I had to, she's like, I had to shave my head. I had to do everything just to be like, fuck you all. Like, I'm going to gain weight. I'm going to shave my head. She's like, I was exhausted. I was burnt out.
And then she had babies. Like, I can't imagine on top of all of that. We know what it's like to have babies not in that life.
And people are taking advantage of her. And I think it just became a point where your family doesn't protect you, because I think what happened is, if I can read between the lines without actually reading the book, her mom turned to Hollywood. Hollywood exposed her. Everyone was making money off of her. And I think it became really hard at a very young age to decipher who was taking care of me, who was not. Then she has this boyfriend, Justin Timberlake, who ends up fucking her in the like public light after it's the only one she loved. She kissed him at a very young age, like when they were Mickey Mouse Club, and was like basically in love with him from when they were kids. And she was like, I loved him. And it feels like, she didn't say this, but if you read between the lines, it's like when she became under conservatorship, if she was not okay to manage her money, why was she okay to go and perform to everybody on stage? If she's okay to make everyone money, and I think when she was under conservatorship and doing literally a Vegas stint, they're like, I think she made like $200 million for everyone during that time, but she's not okay to buy or go away on her own or have a boyfriend or,
none of that makes sense. But
I really feel sad for her
that also reminds me, this is like an off topic, but like musicians, they come back and they say like, I was during that like decade, I performed on tour and did 200 shows that year. And like, obviously to be able to keep up with doing so many shows, they were like so on drugs and alcohol, like so hardcore.
Yeah.
But like they were able to get up on stage and do a show that everyone loved for hours. Like the kind of, it takes a unique kind of a person, because you got to get like, and they did, and they performed and they sang and they did all, but they're fucked up the whole time. And then they started and did it all over again. Like those rockers that a lot of them are like sober now, but like during those years.
I think the expectations of what you could do, it was expected.
But was I mean like
that they could physically do it.
If you look back at those like concerts, they were doing it. But I guess part of the drugs help them have the stamina to do it. It's like a chef. A lot of chefs do cocaine because they have to stay up late at night and they have to stay meticulous.
And they're adults. And she says basically that you think of everyone who was doing drugs and alcohol, to your point, they never got their money. No one questioned their like sanity or what they were doing. I'll give you like exactly the Coles notes, which is Canadian, not American. You guys have footnotes. Footnotes? No.
They have Cliff Notes.
Cliff Notes. It's a 275 pages, and she goes basically a lot into her 13-year conservatorship. She's lost her children. They've moved to Hawaii with the dad, and she...
Are they not 30 by now?
They're like 20. And just how she became a robot. But... Again, she got married to that guy, her trainer, and then he left her right when they got married. It's so weird. They dated for so long. It's like he wanted to get married so he could get money from her. I feel like she's just been screwed over and over.
I never trusted him as far as I could throw him.
No, me neither.
He was with someone who was completely mentally unstable and aware of it.
Yeah. She also said that like becoming under the conservatorship just made her feel like a child. She was like, I'm going to fuck. You've treated me like garbage. Like basically you've treated me like a child. I make all this money and then you treat me like a child. Like she never got to grow up normally. And it sounds like everyone else did. And her dad was an alcoholic by her claims and, you know, being a terrible person and no one listened to her. So that's kind of shitty for her.
She's a literal prisoner put to work.
And I think that's why she's so sexual with her body, because she feels like her dad was constantly calling her fat and being like, you're not going to get a job. You have to work out. You have to do these things. And so was the world. Listen, if you go back and look at the headlines of how they used to talk about women's bodies in like 2002.
Oh yeah. And just like the interviews of what grown men would speak to her about. It was crazy.
Everybody, every woman, they're like, Jessica Simpson, you're too fat, you're too thin, you're this, you're that. Now look at her. Oh my God, she looks like she's eaten 7 burgers. And like, it is outrageous.
Well, along those lines, Paris Hilton had a baby and she put a picture of her baby online. And I mean, the amount of people that made a comment on her baby's head is outrageous. Think this is Paris Hilton's first child. None of this should matter ever, but this is Paris Hilton's first child. She puts a picture of her, this baby that she loves. It's her family out on the internet, and it is just mayhem about how she doesn't look comfortable holding the child, how the baby's head is way too big. There's got to be something wrong with that baby.
The internet's fucked.
Like, and it's just like I understand celebrities who keep their children private because she's Paris and she's a public figure. People feel the right that they can just go and speak about her child because it's an extension of her and she's always put herself out there.
She goes on to say, with my head shaved, everyone was scared of me, even my mom. Flailing those weeks without my children, I lost it over and over again. I didn't even really know how to take care of myself because she lost her children when she went batshit crazy with her hair shaved. I'm willing to admit that in the throes of severe postpartum depression, abandonment by my husband, and torture of being separated from my 2 babies, and the death of her aunt, who she had a really close relationship, and the constant pressure from paparazzi, I was like, fuck it, I just want to be a kid. She's like, I'm fucking done. I'm out. I can't do this anymore. And then I think that's when the conservatorship came in.
They're like, oh, you're not stopping anything, babe. You are the money machine.
Yeah. And they were like, you are going to perform. You're going to do this. And she just felt betrayed by everyone who didn't want to stop the conservatorship, including her mom and including her sister. And that's where the like things happen.
It's so crazy that she didn't have a confidant. Les incompetents.
Does she have a friend?
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. She doesn't have a confidant. Like, I mean, I guess it must have been hard to have friends when you're a child celebrity because you move and you don't keep people around and your schedule does not like leave open for a lot of childhood friends. And she probably doesn't because otherwise she could have had a friend
Forever.
No. Yeah.
But she was gone so young.
Like, remember Jessica Simpson always had a friend, that friend?
Yeah,
was
but
always
I
there?
don't know if they're still friends. She married Dionne Warwick's grandchild. Or some, you know what I mean? You know who he is? No, that was Ashley Simpson.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I feel like she's still friends with her sister.
It's a really sad synopsis, and I don't know where we go next with her.
Now, as far as pop culture goes, it is an overwhelming. I mean, it's like nothing. There are 2 things happening in the world. There is the war, and there is Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift. The coverage is
insane.
It is all consuming. It's like anyone who didn't know about football knows who Travis Kelce is. Such a star now, and he was just a football player before. She's always there. They're doing all the right things. Every moment of their relationship is being filmed. Now, I went to dinner with my girlfriends and they were like, I think this is it. I think it's true love. We're obsessed with the relationship. They're going to get married. I said, I absolutely don't agree. Anybody, like, they're being so public about this. Why would you ever? Something that's so sacred, especially for someone like Taylor who understands the public and private world. A real loving relationship is sacred.
Private for 7 years because she was so public and she got fucked being public. And they have the mom and the dad, and then they do lookalikes and why they get along. Because
she doesn't need any of this.
I know.
So, and everything is public. Every move they make, every dinner they go to, every time they hold hands, every time he scores, every time he does this, like, that just can't be natural.
No.
Thank you.
No.
I said.
I also said, we actually talked about it on Saturday night because I said, they were like,
love it.
And they were like, no. And I was like,
no.
Listen, when you're a celebrity of that stature, you can find restaurants without anybody there and without paparazzi. You actually go to great lengths to not to have a full photo shoot of you walking out.
They have private entrances. They have underground ways. So if you really want to spend time with your love, you can actually be in private. And you're so busy, you need that time.
And when you're that famous, everyone is willing. I mean, Natalie and I stayed in a hotel where there was all the world presidents, and we did not know who was who because there was
UN
tunnels.
was at our hotel.
Tunnels and things, and they would drive in, and the garage would close, and they would come in and out. So, like, absolutely, they did not have to park outside the paparazzi. Hold hands, walk into the restaurant.
I'm so glad we're on the same page.
We know that world.
We know.
We know.
Yeah.
We know who you call.
Yeah.
We know how it's filmed. There is a reason why they are so public.
And now she's got the bracelet with his number on it, and everything is so intentional. She's holding up her. It is so intentional.
Okay, so someone said.
Oh, I want to hear that. I want to hear the theory.
That she's really smart because.
Oh, we know that for sure.
Because the football world is the biggest, most lucrative. Like, so she had all the teens, all the girls. So now she just expanded her audience times so much. But my husband was like, well, they've already toured in Middle America.
Yeah.
Like literally middle of, is that what we're called? The middle of America.
Okay.
She doesn't need anybody else.
Right.
Like she doesn't need.
But the NFL needs her to bring exposure.
Well, it's really sad because they had Carrie Underwood.
Later, husband.
But she's still the singer.
Okay.
So what is the business of their relationship?
Yes.
Something of them either, maybe she's going to buy an NFL team.
Yeah.
Like, you don't need more money.
No.
She makes $13 million a show. But then I said, if you're making that much money and you do 6 shows in Toronto, you clearly love what you do and you need to do it.
Yes.
Because you could do 2 and be like, I'm so sorry, I sold out, get $26 million and peace out. But there is something in her that I don't know how much money everyone needs, but if you are making that, it's more than money for all of these people who keep making more and more money. Because Natalie and I was like, why don't you want to sit down?
I know.
For everyone who just keeps accumulating.
And her movies are making.
Oh my! And it's a concert. And it's
Teacher goes, what do they do in that movie that everyone's going to? I go, I'm pretty sure they're just watching her concert on a big screen
from Los Angeles,
and she's making so much money.
And she's like, "Good night, LA." Like it's not even edited out. It's literally cut and copy.
Okay, so if you gun to your head and if you get it right, you get $200 million. What is this? Or is your guess potentially a football team?
No. My guess is she's having fun.
Okay.
She's got to go. She's got to keep relevant because her tour kind of takes a lag and then comes back in the other November. Like, I'm like, is she going to get oversaturated? Like, are people going to be like, okay, I'm done with Taylor Swift for a minute? And
kind of like, I feel like I know the Kardashians are really famous and stuff, but I kind of feel like it's like
enough.
They haven't done anything. Like, okay, we know you now. We know everything about you. Like,
and maybe it's not them. Maybe it's everyone's obsessed with the conversation. They need something happy. And I did see something today, though, about Pink. And basically, they alluded to no one talking about Pink, okay? And basically, because Pink's been on this massive tour, and she's sold over 3 million tickets. And the interview went, but it could have been edited because it was on social media. How do you feel about no one acknowledging your tour? And you get no, FaceTime. No one talks about it.
Because it's happening the same time as Taylor Swift?
Basically.
Yeah.
And she's like, she goes on to say, if I know that there's a mom and a daughter there who gets my message, if I know that a same-sex couple can come and enjoy and feel safe, and I know if a dad who's wearing pink with his daughter and is having the time of his life, that's all I fucking care about. I don't need the accolades from the media to tell me that what I do, I'm loving. So she's
also making a ton of money. So she's like, I don't need it to be more than this.
I guess it's like other people's concerts are going on too.
Yeah.
And I think she's kind of like Beyonce, I don't think is getting nearly as much accolades as Taylor Swift. And she's doing the exact same amount of selling out as her. So just food for thought about what we're consuming, because it really is driven by, I don't even care about their relationship. I don't even care about it, but I watch it and I want to know, and I'll keep looking it up. It's weird. And
it's a pop culture phenomenon.
She came to Toronto 3 years ago. You could buy a ticket for $75. So she was a machine that became a machine that became a machine. It is.
What is a really nice thing about the two of them too, is that when you watch them, what's nice from like our perspective where we like to see happiness and positivity is she does exude a lot of happiness, easygoing. He does too. It seems nice.
There's no harm in it.
There's nothing bad about it. Okay, did you hear that? I feel like everybody's writing a book now. Like everybody is having
because the actors are still on strike.
Yes. So everybody writes a freaking book.
So why that matters is because you cannot talk to the actors about any TV shows they have done because they are on strike. So when they go on the TV shows that are allowed to go on, the reality shows, all they can talk about are their projects.
Yes.
So you better get a perfume line and a book yesterday.
It's true. And start selling some products in the meantime. I heard that John Stamos, you might have heard this as well. So John Stamos has come out with a book. Now, is Tony Danza dead?
What?
I
don't think
did
so.
I just kill someone off? Oops,
Natalie.
I always kill off people.
Okay, why?
So John Stamos writes a book about his life. I mean, I don't know that I would find John Stamos' story. I don't know anything about John.
It's fake.
What? What's fake?
He's not dead.
Okay, so I lied.
Hold on. Wait, I'm confused.
Hold
it seems to
me
be like
closer,
it seems to be
Tony
like
Danza.
seems to be like someone fake killed him.
Well, I just did. Hold me closer, Tony Danza.
Tony Danza alive. Okay, keep going.
So John Stamos writes a book, and I have to say, if John Stamos writes a book, I don't know anything that I would be particularly interested in his life, but maybe there's things I don't know.
He's alive.
Okay. I remember when he was married to Rebecca Romaine Stamos, and I know that
John Stamos?
Yeah, but Rebecca Romaine Stamos was her name, but I know she's had that other husband for so long.
Jerry Connell.
Yeah, but she's still always Rebecca Romaine Stamos.
Okay.
And every time I think of romaine lettuce, it's Rebecca Romaine lettuce. So he says in his book that he walked in on Tony Danza in his prime, banging his girlfriend, and he was so devastated that was the person, and it was just such a big deal. And
who was his girlfriend?
It was a name that I don't remember, but maybe back in the day she was a famous actress. I don't know who she was, but walked
in his house.
It must have been, or maybe they lived together. But why was she banging Tony Danza?
Why not?
Because she was with John Stamos.
Who cares?
She was cheating.
That's terrible. But I mean,
but he was heartbroken. And was he heartbroken because is John Stamos Greek? Stamos.
You're asking me? I'm not a Google producer. I'm doing everything I can.
Were they two kind of Euro heartthrobs at the time, and that's why it was even more hurtful?
Maybe he probably watched Tony Danza growing up, and he was his hero, and then he was banging him.
And was Tony Danza married?
I don't know. You are the one who brought the story to the table, Natalie. Do your research.
Because then I think about John Stamos, who was Uncle Jesse, and then Tony Danza, who was Angela Bauer's Manny. I'm they were kind of in the same genre of one was in Full House, one was in Who's the Boss.
They were different times.
Oh.
And he's way younger than Tony Danza. So my guess is he grew up watching Tony Danza as his hero.
Oh,
and then he walked in and was like, "It's you, the good guy."
Oh my gosh.
Hold on.
What? I wish there was
Terry Copley
Yeah.
denies cheating on John Stamos. We had broken up. John Stamos described the nightmare as terrible. He walked in on them, the pair in bed together. If you would have told me, and she's like, "We were not together when you did that."
So many people are coming out with these things, like the Beckhams, coming out and they sort of skirt over the alleged affair. And now people like her and people like the affair of Beckham are like, whoa, just so you know, I was the second party in this affair. Let's get the facts straight. Do you know what I mean?
If you have not watched
the
Beckhams, go watch it.
Yeah.
It's really... Oh, God, it's so good.
But I know what she means, right? It's almost like they act like it happened to him, you know? Like it happened to David Beckham. And she's like, this was a consensual thing we both did.
I mean, I'm going to defend them for a minute, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I do feel like that when you're talking about affairs on your own biography that your kids are going to watch and your family's going to watch, and is there permanently, he's not saying it's a tell-all.
I feel like they should have skirted over it though and not even bring it up.
I think they had to address how hard their relationship was in the time and that they overcame it. And I think rather than talking about her, because you can talk about someone and get sued for talking about them because they didn't mention her name, right? So probably not, because we can mention someone's name, and if we don't say it, it's just hearsay, even though it could be fact.
Who was she?
The nanny or the assistant, one of those.
I wonder how long it went on for.
Apparently once. It was like a one night like fling.
And I also think, and this like is not, not for whatever,
but you are the deep diver. You need to get going on these topics. You are the one. Natalie, you give her a topic. If you guys have any questions about a celebrity, you DM us and Natalie will deep dive.
I'm actually way better at deep diving on personal people than celebrities, because celebrities are like, their information is like, it's always so sugar coated and like PG. It's like the real deep story. That's why I love like crimes and murder, because you get down to like, where did they come from? I do like to look up like with celebrities, like when were you born, where were you born, how were you brought up, you know what I mean, how many siblings do you have, what did your parents do when you were growing up? I like to see celebrities like where they came from.
Okay, well, this is great because it tells them all of that, and he's hilarious, she's hilarious, and they were obsessed with each other, like so obsessed he would drive something like 14 hours to see her for 3 hours and then go back. And I won't spoil it for you, but there's like a famous game when they were about to win something massive. And something happened right before the game. And I love it because Posh was like her own massive celebrity. She wasn't just dating him. So in her world, we've talked about this before, but like athletes get like put on a pedestal when you're in the relationship, and it's like, oh my God, I cannot tell him this news before he goes and plays a game, and he's got a nap. She was like, a fucking relationship, and you play a game, and I'm famous too. So if I have something to tell you, I'm calling you. I don't care if you're about to go on the field. I'm telling you what's on my mind. And I fucking love it.
And she's also like, he was famous, but I was famous too. Like I didn't need his like attention.
No. She was like, I was even more famous than him. So like, what do I like? She's like, whatever. I love that about her.
And you know what? I want the Victoria next, because I know that like it was called Beckham. It was about him, and everything that we saw about her was great. But she's actually a fucking hoot and a half. She's like, for being so quote unquote posh, she's actually a really funny person. Which is something you don't expect. And I remember Perez Hilton exposing that side of her in some interview he did so long ago. And I remember like, she's fucking hilarious.
Also, he's like, she is such a strong personality. Like he's like, she is like.
And that's what he liked about her.
And he's like, to this day, she drives me. He's like, fucking mad, but I love her. Like she is a force to be reckoned with every day with him. And he is like, I love that about her.
But and he has like OCD tendencies.
Well, y'all have to go watch it. It's really good. And there's a few other Netflix series that are in the same genre that I've really liked that kind of follow the same like sports. You can also watch Travis Kelce and his brother. It's mostly about his brother, which I liked. And his wife. Guys, what's it called? The football.
I don't know, but they're the most relatable couple.
You have to go watch it
on television.
That now that you've seen like the celebrity status, go watch it. You will. It's the Kelces or like something with the football and Kelce. If you Google it it's on Amazon Prime, I want to say, and it's literally, I was like this. I had to go and show Natalie the scenes. I'm like, you're not going to believe this because you see what you see. Oh, I also like quarterback. I love quarterback. It follows 3 quarterbacks.
Yeah, although it's a slow start, but push through.
I liked it. I never got bored. I liked the whole thing. All right. That's
and if you want it, I'm just going to throw out one. Speaking of athletes and real-time stories, definitely watch the Manti Te'o Netflix special. It'll blow your mind.
What we have? Okay, now you have to recap what that is. I don't even know what you just said.
Manti Te'o, he's an NFL football player.
Yeah.
His story, and it was in the news. You would remember it happening, and it's how he got catfished, and it's not a regular catfish.
Okay, I'll watch it on the plane.
The story is unbelievable, but I think it's also good for all people to watch because people who get catfished are not a bunch of weirdos on the sidelines desperate for something. They can be successful athletes with lovely families.
Oh my God, we can do a catfish one
on
our Friday podcast.
I have listened to so many catfish.
No, I mean, people can give us our catfish stories.
Please.
Okay, I'm going to get them right now.
Please. Catfishing is, I have exposed my kids to what catfishing is.
Okay, we're gonna talk about this on the Friday podcast. Make sure you join and subscribe.
I want Nev on our Thursday podcast. Nev Schulman.
Okay, bye y'all.
Yeah.